You first.
Hello, I'm Jared.
I'm Sean from Byron Borough.
This is
a review of Independence Day. It's called Resurgance.
Resurgence.
I immediately wanted to call it regurgitation.
It was...
or resuscitation, or any number of other words that you can just throw
This
in
is
there.
just...
All
I'm
right,
half tempted to not even want to do this review.
Let's start from the beginning. Let's start at the core of the problems, which is the fact that this is a sequel that's happening
20 years later.
20 years later, which is about 15 years too late for them to try and capitalize on when they really needed to make that sequel.
Yeah.
And it shows.
It
like hard.
Blew.
Hard it shows.
So terribly.
You absolutely hated this movie.
Yeah, and I don't hate many movies. Like,
no, you have a tendency to enjoy really bad movies.
Well, I'm the champion for if I can get something out of it. I'll dude, like, I enjoyed the new Ninja Turtles movie. It wasn't super terrible.
You are dead to me now. No, this is a weird role reversal. I am usually the snobbish of cinema snobs to him. And he's the one who's constantly like, it was fine. We had such and such, and now I'm the one who's having to defend Independence Day.
It was so bad. Like, the last time I watched a movie that bad was The Lazarus Effect.
I never saw that one.
It was terrible.
That's what I heard. That's why I never saw it.
Like, it was awful. That's
Are you? Seriously?
Dude, my grandma's in the hospital.
Well, you're the one who's going to have to explain this.
Sorry, phone went off. My bad.
Yeah, why don't you put your phone to silent like professionals do? Working with amateurs around here. God.
This is my channel and you're calling me an amateur.
Well, let's face facts. Well, let's... Alright, well, let's get a couple of things out of the way. You hated absolutely everything about this. I loved a very select few things about this.
I enjoyed the puns. That's about it.
The puns were fun.
Like,
they didn't have enough of them for my taste.
I
like the fact that I got to see Bill Pullman on screen because I think he's a very charismatic man. And honestly, this movie could have really used more charismatic people, and I hate to say this, it needed Will Smith.
It really did.
I mean, he's the only reason that the first one's any good.
Okay.
Let's face facts.
Well, I mean, Will Smith was like the champion of Independence Day 2. He wanted it, he was pushing for it, and like, he got the studio to do it, but then they were like, well, we can't work with the schedule you need to do, because I mean, 20-year later sequel,
right?
Movie that can jumpstart a franchise. I mean, we had Superman and Batman v whatever. Yeah. But if any movie,
I'm not going to knock him for his decision, which even his charisma couldn't have saved this third boat.
Well, also, Will Smith is very hit and miss. Lately, he's been doing better, but he's had a lot of bad movies.
I can't remember the last movie Will Smith has been in.
Focus. With Margot Robbie, the chick playing Harley Quinn.
That's another one I haven't seen, actually.
It was decent. It was an original storyline. He was a professional thief. And...
Oh, yeah. I remember hearing about this, and it kind of looked so-so, and I was like, it kind of reminds me of an Ocean's 11 ripoff.
Not necessarily, but I mean...
Yeah, that's what everybody told me after I told them that. They're like, no, it's not. It's something else.
It wasn't fantastic, but it wasn't terrible. And it was a lot better than the turd he put out before that, which was After Earth. After Earth was terrible.
Well, in fairness, After Earth was After Earth. And no one could have saved that from Shyamalan.
Nah.
Let's be honest there.
I didn't know that was a Shyamalan movie.
Yes, I don't people will correct me if I'm wrong about this. I don't think he was the director. I think he was one of the producers, but his fingerprints are all over that thing. No. But anyway, getting back to Independence Day, instead of Will Smith, we have... Was it Michael B. Jordan?
No.
No, so it wasn't
It's just some guy. I don't know if it's the kid from the original.
I
all
don't
grown
think
up.
so.
Hold on.
No, don't check. Well, somebody will tell you later.
It's
somebody else.
Some random dude, Thor's little brother.
Yeah, Liam Hemsworth is in
some
this.
chick.
And some chick who replaces the president's daughter, who conveniently also goes into the Air Force.
Yeah.
Because daddy.
It just, there's so many things wrong with this movie.
Well, okay, you say that, but I want to point out some things they did very right. First of all, letting Bill Pullman have his charismatic speech. He does one again, and it's not as good as the first one, but it's just as stirring, in my opinion. I got a little misty-eyed. I was like, yay, Bill Pullman, president, fight the aliens. 2, I got to see some good people get work, which was nice, seeing Brent Spiner knowing he got a paycheck, even though it meant I have to remember him more as this than as Commander Data right now, which is sad because I'm doing a Star Trek marathon right now with The Next Generation. It meant a bunch of people got work. The blending between the sci-fi and technology we have today worked really, really well. The sci-fi stuff, the choppers, and the helicopters they have, and the flight and the airplanes and stuff, that looks great. That looks exactly how I want sci-fi stuff to look. A lot of it looked like practical effects. I don't know if they were, but it looked like they used as much as they could and actually used sets rather than green screens for a lot of stuff.
Here's just what didn't make sense to me with all the technology, because obviously they took a bunch of stuff from the aliens. They have these beam pistols. Why do they still have guns with bullets?
This pissed you off so
Why
bad.
do they still have guns with bullets in it? Why would you shoot a bullet at an alien that you know has lasers and lasers barely affect it? Why would you shoot a gun at it?
Well, in fairness, it looks like they only gave the gun 3 bullets to load into it. So
and then
they do the classic, throw the gun at them.
Hemsworth did that, and then the chick at the end, and the slide was back. She got like 3 shots off.
Yeah, it's 3 shots, and
the slide's back, and then 10 seconds later, it's not.
Oh, less than that.
Yeah,
I know that sounds like a really nerdy thing to complain about, but it's a continuity thing, and
I want to know how the one guy did more damage with katanas than half of them could do with the beam rifle.
Because they weren't katanas, sir.
They were machetes. Whatever.
I will thank you to get your bladed weapons correct.
Oh, I know all about bladed weapons, but still, it was. Not good.
No, it has a lot of failings, but like I say, there are some pros. Bill Pullman's speech is a big pro. Stuff looks like they use practical effects and sets for the most part. And some decent people got a decent paycheck for doing at least some decent work. And we got what I think to be one of the best on-screen gay romance characters between Brent Spiner and his partner.
Well,
I liked it a lot, honestly. It wasn't overplayed. They worked against each other well, just like a couple would, and I thought they did a good job.
Oh no, I don't think they acted like people would act if one just came out of a coma after 20 years.
Well, in fairness, nobody in this movie acts like they would act in this kind of a scenario, so let's not go too far down there.
And I just don't understand where the whole... Why these 3 got... Well, I get one. The one guy got exposed to the hive mind. Why are the other 2 like that? That get the visions that make them faint?
Well, if you'll recall, it's because the warlord hunted them for 10 years, and his dad marshaled him and his brother out on exercises to hunt them or whatever and got them killed.
Okay, and now the president.
And the president, the only reason I can think of is from the very first movie. I said the very first movie. From the first movie where when Brent Spiner's locked into the alien tries to cast its image into his head, and he's like, they're locusts. They move from planet to planet using up resources. Let's nuke them.
Oh, okay.
And that's the only spot I can think of for that. I don't know.
I just... There was so much pointless story and pointless characters in this.
There are a lot of exposition dumps in this movie. Just points where it's like, you might as well have had a giant sledgehammer, written exposition onto the side of it, and went around the theater smacking people in the face with it, because it's that heavy with it.
It's just like, okay, the little kids were pointless besides finding...
Well, children are pointless in every movie, and it did give us one of the high points of that movie.
Yeah, well,
There's a wonderful scene where one of the kids is back talking Judd Hirsch, who is back in this movie playing Jeff Goldblum's father.
Yeah.
And he keeps talking. He's like, my dad says that's not true, and that your son's a liar, and that's all crap. He's like, well, your dad's a schmuck. It's like, I don't think any of that was scripted.
I think that was the best part of the movie. I mean,
it might be.
It was just...
All I can say about this movie is I'm really glad I went to go see the Mystery Science Theater 3000 reunion before this, because I got to laugh so hard at that, and now I get to laugh so hard at this movie.
The last movie I saw before this wasn't great either.
So. Oh, and what was that?
Conjuring 2.
Oh, well, I didn't see the first one.
So. Well, Trudy dragged me to it, and dude, I was out of the theater for half of it with stomach problems, so it was... Either way, and before that, it was Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows.
It sounds like you were conjuring something yourself. You were conjuring yourself at 2.
Pretty much.
There we go. I did it. High five, Sean.
Well done.
Well done, sir.
But just this movie, it had...
No, there are a lot of really pointless characters. There's a lot of scenes that go absolutely nowhere and should have been cut.
Like, let me fly to watch my mom die.
Yeah, we can't get Will Smith for a cameo, so we can structure some kind of a scenario behind him being dead. But we can have Vivica Fox being dropped from a building.
That was a kick in the balls to Smith, too. Oh, he died in the test simulation. Really?
Yeah, it's like, that's how you're going to take
this out. This is the most badass pilot in the world, and he dies in a test simulation.
Yeah, you can't even give him... And apparently, there's still aliens on the planet because they've been cleaning up a skirmish for the last 10 years. And it's like, you couldn't even give him the dignity of having that.
Like dying in battle and that, like...
Right.
Even Hemsworth parents that were not on screen they were killed by aliens.
Yeah.
They crashed in a simulation.
Now, in fairness, not only do they treat people from the first movie who died off-screen with disdain and no absolute caring for the fans, they also treat people who die in this movie with disdain and no care for fans of the first movie. Because they kill Bill Pullman, whose sacrifice makes absolutely no difference. They kill... Vivica Fox, who's the Will Smith Jr.'s mom. I'm sorry, I can't remember this poor guy's name. I know he has one. But I cannot remember.
We'll call him Little Will.
We'll call him Little Willie.
It was just...
I'm very sorry, sir, if you're watching this. You were decent and perfectly serviceable with the script you were provided. I'm very sure you're not the first person Roland Emmerich and Dean Devlin have ruined... or come close to ruining with absolute crap scripts.
Not to mention, they basically put you in the background to a Hemsworth just because.
Yeah, I'm not... I'm not real sure why they did that.
I don't know why he's in movies. Like, it's kind of one of those.
Because Chris Hemsworth
is super famous.
Is fairly popular, and people can do name recognition and go, Hemsworth, oh, and then they go there and it's like, oh, it's this guy.
Well, they look, I'm telling you, if Chris ever bites it, they'll throw that long hair.
Please stop talking like that. I happen to be one of the people who like Thor.
They will throw that
in the Marvel
long
universe.
Hair. They will throw that long hair and give him that hammer.
Please,
you know they
please
will.
don't. I like Thor.
I'm just saying.
Then again, I'm contrarian, and I like Captain America 1 and not Captain America 2, so I get to be that guy. Feed me your hate mail. All of it. It makes me stronger.
I mean, at least everybody can agree on the third one.
Maybe. I don't know.
No, we'll get to that and later.
That's another day.
Me and Marvel have some problems now.
That's another day.
Especially since I just read issue 2 of the new Civil War.
That's another day.
Yeah.
It's another day, Jared. We're talking about Independence Day.
I just don't have anything good to say. I hated it. I hated this movie so much.
You were 2 seats down from me, and
I was
all the while you were
the only thing I got.
I got like miserable.
I got like 3 good. That's what she said jokes out
you
of
did.
It.
You did. I will give you that. And the movie structured it perfectly for you to get them
exactly
in. Just right after another. It's just a real shame that it couldn't have got you the 4th one to just make them all run home with.
I mean, the story, I didn't like the story, and I didn't like,
well, again, it's a story
this thing pops out of nowhere.
It's 15 years too late. Oh, that being said...
And they're like, shoot it.
We've been all over this map, but let's try and compile this into a cohesive narrative. And let's talk about the story, because this has probably the most realistic depiction of encounters with aliens ever, which... Apparently there's a second race out there in the galaxy that are more advanced and more powerful than the creatures that are going around taking resources and planets, and apparently they're delicious multi-core.
Yeah.
Which fuels their research somehow. I'm not sure.
And
because we know about magma.
And they try to get to Earth first.
Yeah, they come to try and
we can help you.
And well, they don't say anything. They just kind of stand there and stare creepily. But
they never got a chance. It was like this thing showed up, and they were like, "Shoot it,
kill it,
that's
now,
shoot
it in the face,
like this thing
from America."
This thing came out of nowhere, and it didn't look like the other. It looked like the freaking Technodrome from Ninja Turtles. That's what this thing looks like.
I have yet to see that movie, so...
No, I'm talking about the old one. Like, just a round sphere coming out of nowhere.
And then you remember the Technodrome much differently than I do, because I remember the Technodrome
with
tank treads and a giant eye. Well, and spikes. It was lots of spikes.
I remember the spikes.
It had a lot of spikes on it.
Oh, okay.
But, yeah, it's our very first reaction when something else comes out. Let's not wait for some kind of a semblance of contact or intelligence. It's just, kill them now! And everybody agrees on it. They take a vote, and apparently there's 5 people who run the world now. And it's 3-2 to just start opening fire with our moon gun. Because that's what we need.
And then...
moon guns!
Then they blow it up, and then all of a sudden, like, 10 minutes later, here come the bad aliens.
Yeah, it's like, wow, you have wormhole technology, and you couldn't do anything until 10 minutes before they were supposed to get here? Because we're still in the middle of our celebration about shooting you guys in the face.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, maybe we should have said something because time was of the essence.
And then...
Fortunately, they don't exactly blame us.
Then it's like on and on and on. They finally crack the thing open, and out of a sphere comes another sphere that's like, y'all are super primitive, but we can help you, and we have all these weapons from all the other, like, couple thousands of people that lived off each of these planets.
Yeah, it's never quite explained in great depth, but apparently this isn't the first time these aliens have been around, and apparently they're massive a-holes to everyone in the known space, because this race has been gathering up people from the other races that these things have destroyed. No one successfully destroyed them before. Never! And then this backwards little planet called Earth manages to do it with an Apple II laptop.
Yeah. Here's just something else. The whole, when the ship was coming down and it had its own gravity and it was causing all these problems.
That was quickly
and it was
washed over.
It was like...
Now let's set this up for everybody else. As this new ship comes in, it's like 1 billion times bigger.
It's like 3,000 miles long, didn't they say?
It's some stupid crazy number
like that.
Yeah, because that's what you do in destruction movies, is when you do a sequel, you makes it bigger! But the alien ship has to be bigger!
It has its own
gravity. It's Roland Emmerich on the set.
It has its own gravitational pull.
Yeah, it's so big.
Why didn't that destroy the Earth?
It started to, and then they realized, we do this, it's going to destroy absolutely everything. So let's just have it stop.
When I saw that, I was like, okay, movie over. I'm done. Let me leave, because I was done within 30 minutes. And
if you'll remember, good sir, there are plenty of shots of China and Britain, who were the people who, I think, decided not to try and shoot the alien down.
That
died very quickly because this thing entering our atmosphere completely and totally reversed everything, which they do a couple of shots that are supposed to be homages to the original, where it's like the guy in the taxi cab and the explosive wave or whatever coming in and destroying the city.
Yeah, it was...
Yeah, that happens. And I know it sounds like we're glossing over a lot of this, but honestly we're not, because quite literally nothing of interest happens between when they start to destroy stuff and when they get destroyed.
No, nothing really. You get
a bunch of exposition shoved in your face about your characters that aren't charismatic enough to carry a story.
No.
You get a bunch of exposition and backstory about a story that's not good enough to carry on its own.
No.
And
some guy trying to hit on a Chinese girl.
Well, I think that qualifies under the characters that we don't care about.
Exactly.
Because they're not charismatic enough.
There were 3 pointless characters. I don't even know why they were there. And it's got to be the Chinese girl to watch her uncle get blown up.
Yeah.
And then the best friend.
Yeah.
Who's a dumbass.
He was an orphan.
Yep.
With Liam Hemsworth, orphan. Dropped off at a camp and survived.
The guy...
somehow.
The guy that was like the paper pusher that turned into badass, let me shoot a gun everywhere. He served no purpose at all.
Didn't you know he was the comic relief?
No, he wasn't. He was awful.
He was funny.
No, he wasn't. He was awful. The dad was more of a comic relief than him.
Well, that's because Judd Hirsch is Judd Hirsch and is great.
This guy just served no purpose.
I love how angry you are at this.
I haven't hated a movie this bad in a long time.
That is the perfect movie for me. I listened to 2 reviews, one by Brad Jones, who does Cinema Snob and Midnight Reviews, and he said that this was just one of the absolute worst movies he ever saw. I think he was in your camp, where it was very, very little be gotten from this. I can completely agree and understand that. The other one I listened to was Half in the Bag's review with Mike and Jay, and Mike, who is usually the hugest Scrooge for a movie, doesn't like anything hardly, said he absolutely loved this because it was the best kind of schlock. and I can absolutely understand his opinion on that now. I didn't like this movie by a long shot. What I did like was seeing how upset it made you. And that's why I would say watch this movie with someone else who hasn't seen it before. Wait until it comes out on Netflix or Redbox or whatever.
But this is definitely illegally downloaded. Like,
no, don't.
Do not
we
watch.
We do not advocate piracy on this show.
Don't pay to don't
borrow it from your sucker friend who decided, oh, I liked the first Independence Day and it was only in theaters for a week and a half, so I'll watch the sequel.
Wait until Redbox sends you a free code.
Yeah, do that.
Wait till Redbox sends you a free code, or you have a friend dumb enough to buy this movie.
Yes.
Because
now, the flip side of this is I know, one, that I'm going to be able to introduce people to it and enjoy their suffering. Because I'm kind of a sociopath like that.
It was so...
Two, this was so bad, and at the same time it had so much schlocky goodness. Riff Tracks is going to have a field day with this. And hopefully we will get a great riff out of this.
They should. It was...
This movie was not very fun. For some of us.
And why did the president...
I had the time of my life.
Why did the president have to die? He blew up for nothing. He didn't even... But his daughter can get a plane in there.
I just realized this. I just this second realized this. Bill Pullman now has less of an effective rating against the aliens than Randy Quaid did. That is sad. I've just made myself sad.
It was so bad.
This movie is awful. And now you have a reason for hating this movie as well. Bill Pullman deserved better.
He did.
He did.
Everybody deserved better.
Now, in fairness, we did get some of the original goodness when the movie starts. And we see that an alien of the alien race that invaded Earth is watching the president's speech with direct cuts from the first movie on his space TV. That's not a joke either.
No.
You see Bill Pullman's face while he's giving the Independence Day speech, and then it clicks over and it's like...
That's how the trailer... That's how the trailer got everybody, too. They did the first trailer had that called nostalgia speech.
Factor.
Exactly. And that's... And everybody was like, it can't be that... It was that bad. Like, everybody's like, it can't be that bad. It looks like... It may be savable because they did the speech and they give us clips. They don't give us any story in the trailer.
No, that is another thing. I will say, Bill Pullman gives another really great speech in this. It's not as good as the first one.
Nothing could ever be as good as...
No, that's like the greatest presidential speech ever.
It is.
But then again, we have to acknowledge that the first movie is not that great.
I haven't seen the whole movie since I was roughly 8.
That's exactly my point.
I've seen bits and pieces.
It was exactly that time. It was the perfect storm for that kind of a movie for people like you and me. We were the exact age range. It was the exact story we needed. It was the exact stupid blockbuster. But more on that for when we do the next portion of this, or the first portion of this, depending on who you're subscribed to and watch. Because I'm going to do a review with him about the first movie, and he is doing a review with me about the second movie.
And you can get all this awesome goodness on our 2 channels.
Yes, which...
Ninja Mafia Entertainment.
Yep, that's you. And I, of course, am Byron Barrow. I'm probably not going to do a lot of these with you. I'll pop up for, like, the ultra nerdy stuff. Like, I'm sure we'll do one for Ghostbusters.
Yeah, for sure.
We have to.
Another Hemsworth is in that one, of course.
It's Thor, the one they say the good is. Yeah.
There's 3 of them. There's an older brother, too.
Is there?
He's like he only does, like, Australian soaps, though.
Oh, there you go.
Just random fun fact for you.
Okay, there you go. Random fun facts about Hemsworths. So, just a quick recap. Things that were good. Special effects were decent for the sci-fi stuff. Not so much for the other stuff, like the tugboats and the ships and stuff on the water. That looked really fakey fake and nasty.
Yep.
Bill Pullman and Brent Spiner getting work again, which I am absolutely behind.
You got a paycheck, guys.
They got a paycheck, and there was something else, but I clearly forgot. Puns. There were a couple of good puns.
We got 3 good "that's what she said" moments, and the dad going off script.
And Judd Hirsch. Judd Hirsch got a paycheck too. That's my third one.
That about wraps it up. This is definitely watch it on Netflix or when you get a free Red box, even if you or wait till it comes out on cable.
Yeah, that's probably your best bet, honestly. If you're still one of those people who has cable, but
all 1 mil, there are not many.
I'm not sure how many. I sure don't.
I have satellite, but I watch. Well, Trudy's parents have satellite. I watch Netflix and
there you go. We'll see you next time, everybody.
Alrighty, later, guys.